Hello and welcome back to Level Up with Loraine. I am your host, Loraine. This is the show where we dig into habits, ideas, mindset shifts, and we focus on personal development. I'm very big on personal development. We also talk about travel and lifestyle. And so I'm excited for today's episode because we are going to be talking about stop consuming, start creating. This was a big topic for me because this is sort of the phase that I'm in right now, where friends of mine and I consume quite a lot, whether it's on Instagram, on Pinterest, on YouTube. We've got vloggers and bloggers and all these people that we really like and they inspire us. And so we do a lot of consuming and sharing, what we will have seen that they have shared. But I was stopping to think to myself, what would the world look like if we all created something based on what is important to us or what we value or what we are good at? What value could we add to the world? So I thought that this would be a very good, topic to share with you guys. So I did a bit of research and we'll get straight into it. Now, you've probably noticed that our lives are full of content. We wake up and scroll, we listen to podcasts, we watch YouTube, we binge shows, we are forever double tapping posts on Instagram, on Facebook, etc. Every spare moment becomes a chance to consume something new, right? And look, there's nothing wrong with that. We live in the most connected, creative era ever. Information is everywhere, but here's the catch. The more we consume, the less thinking space we have. We leave less space for us to have our own thoughts. We start having other people's voices and, leading with other people's thoughts and opinions and very little of our own. So it's like standing in a crowded room where everyone is shouting ideas and you can't hear your own voice. You can't hear yourself thinking. And that's the world we live in today. When was the last time you actually sat down and thought, without music, without a YouTube video, a podcast, or whatever? When was the last time you actually sat in stillness and asked yourself, what do I actually want to make today? What value do I want out of today? What will I add and what will I get out of it? So let's talk a little bit about consumption. Consumption feels good. It's easy, right? It's comfortable. You sit on your bed, you sit in your lounge, you sit wherever you're comfortable. You click on YouTube, you look for your favorite creator and you start consuming all that good, right? It's easy. It gives you a little bit of dopamine. And I've spoken about this in previous episodes, that it's the same kind of drug that you get from sex and substances that you get from scrolling and consuming all this content. And you feel productive by watching someone else be productive. However, you're not being productive, are you? And you watch a vlog about someone waking up either at 5 a.m. and journaling and meditating, and you start to feel very encouraged. But you enjoy watching that. In doing that, you sort of feel like you've accomplished something, but you actually haven't. And you start to feel like you did it too, but you didn't. So watching is not doing. And the more we substitute consumption for creation, the more we start living through other people's stories instead of writing our own. And so I want to talk about creation because a lot of us shy away from it for various reasons, right? Creation is messy, and that's why we avoid it. The truth is, creation is hard. So when I think about even starting this podcast, I asked myself a couple of questions. What will I talk about? How will I do it? Where will I even find the information? Who will listen? I had this blank page and lots of self-doubt. And the inner voice was whispering. And I know everyone has experienced this inner voice. Who do you think you are? Who are you to do this? Well, I want to flip the question and ask you, who are you not to do it? Because a lot of us lead with the question, well, the market is flooded. Everyone has got a YouTube. Everyone's got a podcast. Why should I do it? Everyone's got a product. Everyone is a brand owner. What will be different about me? So now you're looking for reasons not to do it. But if you think about your current job, if you're in a job in corporate or whatever, everyone has a job, right? So an example is you saying, I don't want to be a salesperson because there are many salespeople out there. Well, that's dumb because there are many salespeople out there, but they're probably selling different things from you. And even if they're selling the same thing, they're probably highly likely doing it differently because we are different people, different personalities, different ways of presenting information. And so this whole thought of who am I to do this? The market is flooded. A lot of people are doing it. I won't have space. It's self-doubt and it's looking for excuses not to do something. I was speaking to a friend the other day and I was saying, listen, we have this favorite content creator of ours who does a lot of fashion, styling, helping you build a capsule wardrobe, helping you style and shop from your own wardrobe so that you don't over-consume clothes, but you make the best use of the clothes you already have. And we absolutely love her, right? But my friend herself is the most fashionable girl I know in terms of knowing how to style clothes, how to, get really good value for money pieces and just completely wear them in a way that you and I would have never thought of, right? And it's so bomb. And I was just saying to her, why don't you have a product or a service or a podcast channel, a podcast or a YouTube channel where you share this information with people, right? And this is an ongoing discussion. But all this to say, creation demands courage, right? It's easier to scroll because scrolling never asks you to risk failure, to risk maybe embarrassment. What will people think? My friends and all of that. It asks you to try to show up, to make something imperfect so that you learn and eventually become perfect at it. It asks you to risk judgment. And I was watching and listening to someone the other day who was saying, when you decide to start something, try not to even tell your friends. Try not to even tell your family or the people that you know will plant seeds of doubt in you, right? Just start and then share it with them and then ask for feedback. But you have to start. And, that's the very thing that leads to growth. It's when you stretch yourself and move out of your comfortable space and move into the uncomfortable. That's where growth resides. So when you create, you step into the role of participant instead of spectator. You become part of the game. And you stop being just a node in someone else's algorithm, right? Where the system already knows that Law likes ABC, and so now it's just feeding you, all this stuff. You actually become an author of your own world, and you actually start creating stuff and putting out your own thoughts, your own opinions, your own voice out into the world. So let's talk about small ways you can start creating. And where do you actually start? How do you shift from consuming to creating without quitting the internet or moving to some random cabin in the woods? How do you actually, practically start? So the first thing, you have to create before you consume. So in the morning before you touch your phone, right? Think about what value do I want to add? Or what value would I want to get if I was a recipient, right? Make that your mantra. Write one sentence down every morning before you watch a video, record a thought, sketch an idea, whether it's a product that you're hoping to create, a brand, focus on your own voice. Let your voice come first before you welcome other people's voices into your world. First thing in the morning. The second thing is lower the bar for yourself when it comes to creating. yes, it's scary, right? You don't need to start a company or write a novel from the word go. You can start with a thoughtful message that you can send out, whether it's on your socials, and you can start to be very mindful about curating what it is you're sharing on something as simple as Instagram. And you can cook something new. I have a friend who has a blog or a vlog on cooking, and it didn't just start with that. She would just cook something new and share recipes with us, and then she slowly moved to YouTube, and I'm sure one day she's one of those people who will have a recipe book. But you start small. So if you're thinking about the long-term goal becoming a recipe book, well, today it's not writing the recipe book. It's about you cooking something and sharing it with your friends and getting feedback. Or take a photo that captures how your day feels and share that, or journal for 5 minutes. Don't make creating such a hard task for yourself. Start small, lower the bar. And creation is not about scale, it's about expression. But most importantly, it's about self-expression. So being authentically yourself and, being able to share that with the world. The third thing is embrace imperfection. So what I will share here is when I started this podcast, after jumping all the hurdles of what will people think, who will listen, what will I talk about, oh, this is hard. After jumping those hurdles, I had to embrace the imperfection of not having the right software. I didn't have it, right? But I wasn't going to wait until I had it. I decided to start recording on my phone. I didn't have the cleaning software just to make my voice a little more crisper. I didn't have, a host yet. I didn't have a podcast host website yet. And so all of those things were not in place, but I started. And so you're not supposed to be great at the beginning. I remember a few people when I shared some of my recordings would be like, listen, the message is good, but we're losing you at some points. Your voice is very low. The volume is not high enough, etc., etc. But I would still put it out there. I'm sure if you go to my first 2, 3, 4 podcasts, it's not the best listening experience, but I put it out there anyway, because you have to embrace the imperfection. You have to start, and you have to start somewhere. So every artist, every creator, every entrepreneur started by making something awkward, something messy, something cringe even, right? But they made it. You can't edit a blank page. You have to start somewhere, right? You have to create the mess and then edit the mess. And the fourth thing I want to share with you is turn consumption into inspiration. So you don't have to quit consuming altogether. Just do it actively. An example I will give you here is I spoke about the vlogger that my friends and I enjoy, who's like a fashion vlogger, lifestyle vlogger. I won't stop watching her. She inspires me. But what I have done is, because this podcast is about personal development, it's about lifestyle, it's about travel, I realized it's really hard to talk about travel on a podcast. And so I started my YouTube channel, and I put out my first vlog a couple of weeks ago. In fact, shameless plug, please go and watch it on Level Up with Loraine on YouTube. But I did that because this vlogger inspired me. And I won't stop watching her because there are things I'm learning from her and her journey. And she started a couple of years ago. And so all this to say, turn consumption into inspiration. Ask, what do I love about this person and how they're doing it? What could I make that's my own version? And I know I'm talking a lot about social media, but creation is also a product, right, that people can consume. It's a brand. It's a service that you can start creating and selling. So all of that, what could I make that's my own version? Every piece of content can be a spark if you choose to respond instead of just absorb, right? Everything that you're watching, that you're eating, that you're enjoying, that you're experiencing, there is some inspiration in all of that for you to do your own thing and create something meaningful for yourself. So when you stop living only as a consumer, you start reconnecting with the human drive to build, to tell stories, to leave a mark. If you think about our ancestors or the people who lived before us, years and hundreds of years before us, they used to paint on cave walls. They carved tools. They told stories or myths by the fire, right? Not because they had followers, but because creation is how we make a sense of being alive. We tell stories for generations to come. We create value, right? And so when you create even something tiny, you reclaim that spark. You turn, passive time into something meaningful. You make meaning of your time. You remind yourself that I'm not just here to watch the world happen, but I'm also here to shape it. And so in closing, I want to give you this challenge as usual, right? Before you scroll, before you watch, before you consume, create one thing, one idea, one sentence, just one thing. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't even have to be shared. Just make something that didn't exist before you touched it, because that's how you shift from consumer to creator, one small act at a time. Thank you so much for tuning in to Level Up with Loraine and spending time with me. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who's ready to make that shift from consuming to creating. And if you make something today, tag me or send me a message. I would love to see it and share feedback. Until next time, keep creating, keep growing, and keep being authentically yourself. And obviously, continue to level up.